Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? It is good to see you again. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up. What a day today. It was an unexpected day. Beautiful day, but nonetheless, big changes have started to take place. Um, and I guess I'll talk about that right away before we get into today's topic, which is reincarnation. Somebody asked, well, several people have asked me about reincarnation. So we'll talk about that today. So, what was the big event? Well, I was got hired at this job, and today on my way home, I was let go from my job out of nowhere. Got a call from my temp agency, and they said they let you go. And I asked, they asked why, and absolutely no reason given, nothing. They kind of fought for me, but when asked again, there was no reason why I was let go from my job. And as you know, guys, there are no coincidences, right? None. There are no coincidences. What happens? So if this happened out of the clear blue, no explanation given, no reason why I was let go from my job, um, other than, hey, thank you for working for us. You did a great job. There wasn't a complaint from the other side or this side. When a door closes, another one opens. So I clearly, as I said, no coincidences. So, hey, I am now jobless again, but it's all for a higher purpose and a higher reason. But, anyways, let's talk about reincarnation um, because it's a topic that I get asked about quite a bit. It's rather simple for me anyway, but for a lot of you, you guys just don't understand what reincarnation is. Is it real even? Is my life, what I'm witnessing here today, real? And all of that good, happy, that crap that comes with, what is, the reincarnation. So let's talk about it quick because it's not a real in-depth topic. I mean, I'm going to talk about it real quick, and then I'll give you examples of it. So, and if it's real, but anyways, um, reincarnation is an illusion. It's an experience that you create and it feels very real, right? But that's not a real accurate description of what that experience is because everything is happening at the same time, right? So if everything and everyone exists all at once, how can you be anything but anyone else? So you're creating a connectional link to um, everyone or in existence that like the past or the future. But in this particular field or at this moment, it's an illusion, right? Again, it's just an experience that you create that feels very real. So remember when I told you guys that when I died, everything exists in the moment of now, right? So if everything and everyone exists all at once, how can you be anything then other than you or all of you? It's just a connectional link between you and everybody else that exists at the moment of now, so that you all draw information from one another. It's in You're just experiencing it in the moment of now in what you call life, right? So when I say I died over 3,200 times, it's simply a field of expression of all of you in the moment of now, right? So when what you consider the Big Bang, okay, just think about it. You see, all of a sudden there's nothing, right? And all of a sudden, just think of it as a straight line. And then all of a sudden you have the Big Bang. In that moment, in that Big Bang moment, in oneness, you lived what you would consider every single one of your lives. In that explosion, you created and lived all of your lives in that moment, right? And then God said, well, wait a second here. We messed up. And then he fixed it. And you've heard me in previous vlogs talk about the gap, right? This little gap. and it's tiny, it's real tiny, like the boat going through the water, and you see the waves, the waves that were created, or the wake behind the boat, that gap. Okay. And in that moment, which there's nothing there, is what I call reincarnation. Okay. All of those lives were lived in that moment. So what you're experiencing right now is just a connection to one of what you see around you, everybody else. You're the stage, you're the play, you're the actors, you're the directors of the moment of now. But you're no different than the person you see pushing another grocery cart, past you in the grocery aisle. That is, again, a reincarnation of the moment of now of you. So what you're simply experiencing right now. Where is everyone? Hi, Murray. I don't know. Hey, Steele. How you doing? Pleasure. Thank you for coming. So in that moment is simply what you're doing right now. And when I tell you there's no place for us to go, right? That you're on the cosmic wheel, like a hamster, when you're watching that hamster run like hell on the wheel. Where did he go when he got off? Nowhere, right? There's nowhere for you to go. So you're simply at home, right? Heaven, with God, with all your family members, but you've chosen to go to sleep, right? And you're focusing your mind on this particular aspect of who you are, right? So you're basically watching a rerun of something you already experienced billions and trillions of years ago. Okay. That's all that is really taking place right now. Everything already happened. Okay. That's why I tell you the past and the future don't exist. They've that already happened. Like when you look up into the night sky, and I give you this example before. When you say, "Oh, there's the sun, there's the stars, there's the moon, there's Mercury, there's Mars," there's nothing there. That's what you would call the past, right? When they tell you, "Oh, it takes 8 minutes for the sun's rays and the heat to get to you," well, you're referencing that in the aspect of time which doesn't exist, because there's nothing there for you to witness. It is the past. What happens in the past? Can I go back to 1974 and be a 4-year-old little boy? No. Well, in actuality, that 4-year-old little boy is still living. Okay, he's still experiencing what Jason Janis, who I perceive to be Jason Janis, experienced in 1974 as a 4-year-old little boy. Okay, but that's just a connection to the greater aspect of the whole between all of you. Okay, so reincarnation is simply an illusion, that what you are experiencing right now, or what you are perceiving to experience, is also an illusion. It's all part of the game, the dance, what you chose to experience trillions of years ago. But that happened trillions of years ago. It is just you're reconnecting and re-experiencing something that already took place. Okay. So when Father says, "Hey, it's time to go. It's time for you to rebuild your life," that already happened, right? There's nothing for you to experience. You're just focusing in on something that already did happen. So the whole reincarnation is just part of the grand illusion that you're perceiving to experience in the moment of now, right now, right? So that's all it is. There's nothing else to it. You simply put yourself in a deep sleep, in a deep slumber, part of your mind, right? Who I would perceive as Jason Janis, because Jason Janis doesn't exist. Jason Janis never existed. He never will exist. He's simply like an author creating when he writes a book, a nonfiction book, and he's the hero, there's the villain, Jason Janis, right? Jason Janis doesn't exist. Hi, Verena. Welcome, hon. That's correct. So Jason Janis is just a figment of the oneness of Father, a fictional character, right? That Father wants to experience through Jason Janis, but Jason Janis doesn't exist. Jason Janis can never exist. He never has existed, you know? So when I say the body isn't real, the body is of such little insignificance, it doesn't mean anything, okay? Because that's not why I'm here. It's just a character. I'm the stage, right? I'm the play. I'm the actor. I'm the director. All right. But when you wake up to that illusion, that's when things get scary for other people, right? Because they don't want to, you all of a sudden change because you don't fit into the norm anymore. You don't fit into the societal um, happenings that most of you fit into anymore. And that scares people, right? Because you no longer play the game. Right. It's kind of a cheat, right? I have the distinct advantage of knowing all of this. So when I go out and interact, like today, when I was leaving work, I got called from my temp agency. They no longer need you. I got fired today. Well, most people would freak out. Well, what am I going to do, especially in my situation, in my precarious situation? But things like this, when a door closes, what has to happen, guys? Right? What has to happen? Another door opens. Now, is it unfortunate? I don't see it that way anymore. I just look at better things are coming. So I know that nothing bad truly is going to happen to me because nothing bad can happen to me. People from ND wake up from the simulation, right? It's go watch the movie The Matrix, guys, if you haven't seen that with Keanu Reeves, and you'll see when he plugs in, right, what it really is. And he realized who he was at the end, right? Being God. I'm the creator of my reality. You have to remember that your thoughts, and especially when you speak them out loud, it creates a certain frequency, right? And that frequency is powerful. It is just as powerful when you don't speak it, when you're in a manifestation mode, when you're in meditation mode, and you're in your mantra, right? The I am. That is a direct statement to the non-physical. And everything stops. And that frequency is now listening to you. So it's granted to you, but now you have to meet that frequency. Total recall. Same thing with Avatar. Remember when Mac lays down in not Mac, but when he lays down and he falls asleep and you see his consciousness move through the tube into the avatar? That is exactly what is happening here. Okay? We are coming from a different realm, a different dimension. We lower our vibration, and it's like your consciousness is coming through that tunnel, and then all of a sudden, you're born. You're in a baby. When you're not in a baby, but your soul is now wrapped. It created, or the ego created that body that it needed to experience life in a different realm, in a different dimension. That's all that's happening. But it's happening in your mind. You're not really reincarnating anything. It's already happened. But then to say, well, Jason, that's the past. Well, it doesn't exist. That's correct. The past doesn't exist because everything that is happening is in the moment of now. So then reincarnation becomes an illusion, a dream, right? You're just focusing in on something that already happened, like a rerun when you sit down after a long day at work, right? And then you plop on the TV and you change it. Oh, and you remember you watch this funny show, right? And then you start laughing and cackling, but it's the same thing. It's how you choose to, in that moment, live that life, I guess, right? Do you choose for it to be happy and abundant or dark, nasty, and sinister? It's all your frequency. It's all your mind of one mind, right? I and the Father are one. Jason, who I thought once was Jason Janis, was simply smoke and mirrors. A fundamental change in my reality. Jason Janis doesn't exist. So, and that's called playing the game. So people that have that NDE, they wake up to that and they realize that. And then they change their life for the better. They choose to serve humanity. They choose to serve all of you for the greater good because of the love that we now carry within ourselves. But I realize when I wake up every day, I'm not truly waking up, right? I'm perceiving or projecting outward from my mind through this avatar what I am dreaming about and experiencing. Same goes for all of you. That's why my channel really hasn't grown. I get into the nuts and bolts of the nitty gritty, all the things that you all want to hear about, right? But it's for a very, very small niche, a very small part of the community in the whole, right? You all want to understand what is taking place, right? It's about growing the soul. That's correct. It's about your evolution as a soul, as a multidimensional being, right? It's what you choose to experience. And some of it is unpleasant, and it's going to be unpleasant, right? You're like a wave in the ocean, right? You go ups and downs, right? The ebbs and flows. You're going to experience extreme joys. You're going to experience extreme pain. But where do you grow from, guys? You grow from pain. You don't grow from joy and happiness. Oh, that's all wonderful. If that was the case, then why would we leave home? Right? You're forged through the fires of hell, through the deepest despairs of your life when a soulmate left you, a husband or a wife left you, right? Left you with the kids, left you with the bills, just bone crushing, right? Well, guess what? You have no place to go but to pick up your panties, pull them back up, and walk. You don't have a choice, right? That's where you learn to grow. That's where you evolve from. You don't evolve from, loves and making love and all of this. No, you're only forged in fire. That's where you learn to grow. That's where you grab your strength, right? You dust yourself off and say, you know what? I'm not going to fall for that bullshit again. I'm not going for that again, right? And that's where your soul evolves. It's not through trillions of reincarnations because they don't exist. Everything you ever learned and went through happened only once and once only, through the Big Bang. And then Father said, well, we've effed that up, and he fixed it. But in that gap that you perceive everything to be happening in your life, when you look at it, if you draw a line on a piece of paper, a little gap, and then draw another line, what's inside that gap? That you all perceive to be fear, hate, anger, rage, violence, love, making love, children, life, right? But there's nothing there. And that's the illusion. You put all your fears and hopes right inside that little gap. And again, taking the boat going through the lake, through the water, when you look out at the back end of the boat, what happens to that wake? It comes crashing together. What's in there? Nothing. It's the same thing with reincarnation. There's nothing there. There's nothing for you to reincarnate into. It's already happened. Well, then, Jason, why am I going to come back? Well, why have I had past, I've been a woman before. I've had this. Well, yeah, you have. Only once. And when you look at yourself, you need to look at everybody around you. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to work, when you're interacting with people on the street, you have to stop and realize that every single person that you're interacting with is you. You're projecting that person. Like, this is a good example with the 7 people watching me here right now. You are projecting me right now through your dream, this is how you are perceiving Jason Janis. And to each and every one of you, I look and sound different, because that is your perception of what you are creating. So right now, you are creating what you are seeing to be Jason Janis in front of you, speaking to you live, right? Where I look different, I see myself this way, but each and every one of you see me a different way and hear me a different way. But that's your projection of me. You're creating me in the moment of now. Okay? So to each and every one of you, I'm different. Okay? And that is the absolute truth. But it's still just another version of yourself. So there's nothing to reincarnate into. I know that sounds bizarre to a lot of you. Okay? When I said before, do you reincarnate? Well, yes. But in the same aspect, no. Because you've already lived them. So when Father says, say when you go home, when you awaken, you die, right? You leave the body, you detach from it, and the part of you goes home. You're going to have the life review, and you're going to go, whoo, I'm with my family and all of this good stuff, right? Oh, I made it home, right? You say, yeah, it was hard on you, and you're going to take a few centuries off, okay? 10,000 years or so, but it would be only like 35 years here in the non-physical. Father's going to say, hey, come on, hon, it's time to go, right? You're going to jump back into or create a life that already lived, right? So in that aspect, it's still a connectivity issue with each and every one of you, or a version of yourself that has already taken place. And you're going to focus your mind on that specific frequency in that moment of now. And therefore, what you would then consider another life. But it's still the same one. Marie Bowman, then why live them again to evolve if we've already done it? Did we fail it before? It's not fail, okay? It's not failing. It's going to take you many lives. And the whole point of this, and I've told you guys this before, okay? The only reason you have come here to incarnate is to what? Rediscover who you are. You're on a journey of rediscovery. Believe it or not, guys, you are in the greatest love story ever created. Because and I know this because I've had an NDE. I've experienced that love on the other side of Father, of Yeshua, right? And when I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that you are Jesus Christ. If there is only one, I and the Father are one, right? Okay. Then who are you? You're Jesus Christ too. I'm Marie. I'm Verena. I'm everybody else that's watching me in this room, which is true. I've said that before. Okay. So it's not a question of failing. It's a question of it's not accomplishing everything that you needed to, because it's going to take, as I said, many lives for you to do this. Okay. Every planet has a Yeshua. Yeshua is everywhere. Yeshua is here. I am Yeshua. You are Yeshua. We're all one and the same, guys. I cannot express this to you enough. Okay. When I told you in my near-death experience that I was one with everything, that means all of you. Okay. But all of you have to come to this experience of awakening to have that, not necessarily a near-death experience, but wake up one day and realize, you look outside and say, none of this is real, right? But with a profound sense of knowing that what you're experiencing is simply a nightmare or a dream, whatever you want to call it, an illusion. Like when you're walking in the desert and the guy keeps going and walking further, there's the oasis, right? He's dying of thirst. Body knows it, right? But he keeps walking in that 120-degree heat so he can get to that mirage, which is an illusion. And eventually what happens? You die, right? You're going to collapse and just take your last breath because you died of dehydration. Okay. That's what's going on here. You're all waking up, or you're all pretending to play the game. And you're so wrapped up in it because you believe that what you are experiencing is real. And you continue to do it. And the whole point of it is to wake up and realize this isn't real. And that, Marie, is what takes time. And that's why you keep generating different experiences that help you along that path, right? So just a matter of, I know I don't like saying this, but it's just a matter of that right moment when that happens for each and every one of you. And that's it. So there really is no reincarnation. You're not reincarnating. It's already lived. You're just taking an aspect of a small part of you and focusing it in on an experience that already happened. And basically what you're doing in these lives, okay, is fine tuning, right? It's like when you are tuning a guitar, right? And you're getting, or a bass, EADG, right? And you may be off quite a bit. And, it may take several turns to get into that tuning, to E, to A, to D, to G, right? But each time you twist the tuner, you are re-experiencing or getting or fine-tuning your life in that contract, that soul contract that you have. Okay. And that's what these lives do. You're fine tuning each life you have. You're fine tuning. You're creating one step closer to enlightenment, that you don't have to do this shit anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't ever want to have to get in or be attached to a body. I'm sick of it. I know what it's like on the other side, and I have no desire to ever stand put in a body anymore. But so when you see clearly, when you perceive the hidden, the currents beneath the game, you're essentially calling to everyone what you choose to ignore. And people don't like it. They don't like it. You guys don't like it because you're not bad or stupid, because your parody threatens the very structure that allows people to function. So think of this way. Society is like a stage play, right? Everyone has their part: successful businessman, the mom, the dad, the aviator, the pilot, the reliable friend, right? Those are your roles to understand, right? They're costumes like Halloween. And the play works beautifully because long as everybody stays into character. But me, with my penetrating awareness, we're like an audience member in the middle of a performance and shouts, "But that's just an actor pretending." Well, imagine how everybody else is going to react to that, right? Then what comes next is isolation. And I don't mean ordinary loneliness or not having enough. I mean something far, far more profound than that. Then the isolation of living completely different reality from everybody around me, which I am. So you're speaking a language that nobody else understands. I'm seeing a world that nobody else can see. And the terrible irony in that is the more clearly I perceive, the more I'm alone that I can be, So I have an extraordinary ability to read people. I can immediately walk into a room and sense people in pain, people suffering, people happy, people sad, right? And who's hiding something, who's lying. So basically what has happened, other than a few people, I've lost every close relationship I've had, simply because people feel exposed around me like a raw nerve, right? It's just an uncomfortable mask. They don't like it. I'm too intense. I read too much into things, right? Can't I just relax and chill and have fun and go out and whatever? But, I can't just turn this on and off. It's not like a switch. So once, I'm always showing you what other people prefer to keep hidden, right? In the dark, in on the stage sides, right? Because people are constantly showing their true selves of playing the game. And that is something that I will not do anymore. I have to survive in the game. But when I start talking like this and around other people, it makes them very uncomfortable because they're caught up in the illusion in the game. Walter, how do you explain the people that come down in order to help others grow their souls? Like those who take on a very difficult lives in order to bring, well, that's what I am. Well, you can call those people the chosen ones, like I have. Like Father asked me to come live this brutally difficult life, right? To shed the light in the darkness that what is Earth, what this place is right now. So those that are chosen, they're forged in fire from the time they're born. They go through abuse, neglect, beatings, more abuse. They go through terrible marriages. They get abandoned by the people they love. Their friends leave. The ones that they truly love and give their heart to, they're abandoned by them. You're left out in the cold, right? Nobody wants you. Nobody seems to love you or care about you. It's for a reason, right? Now we look at it as, I figured, like, God doesn't love me. Remember when I told you that? God clearly must hate me because, nobody cares. The abuse that I went through and this, that, and the other thing, the failed marriages, the job after job after job after job, never meant to work a 9-to-5 job. I've gone through 30 jobs in my life, and I'm not kidding you guys, right? Maybe they're a year and I'm gone, or I leave, or I'm fired, or just like now, today on the way home from work, I was let go when I was just told how great I was doing out of nowhere, right? Same shit all over again, except now I know it's for a reason. Now I know I'm not going to worry about it. Something better has happened. But that's where you grow from, like I was talking about earlier, okay? You grow in that fire. You don't grow from love and compassion. It doesn't do you any good. It feels good, right? When somebody, oh, I love you, I want to, this, it feels good, but you don't grow from that. You grow from the abandonment. You grow from the abuse. You grow from being knocked down, dragged around, having your heart ripped out, right? You choose a higher path. You choose to grow from those experiences, right? Now, me, on the other hand, I got mad, right? I was like, clearly, nobody gives a shit about Jason, right? Nobody cares. But that's why those chosen ones come. And chosen ones are also like Jesus. They come from a highly advanced societies. Not only another dimension where we come from, but also from highly advanced beings like the Pleiadians, the Syrians, the Arturians, the Anunnaki, all highly advanced beings. And from what I understand, I'm a Syrian, a highly advanced civilization, a highly advanced being, to come here to shed light into the darkness of helping this species evolve. Like those who may have certain disabilities like autism, or maybe they live short lives because they battled childhood cancer or something like that. I assume that, yeah, it's the same thing. They chose to experience this, right? Now, why would they choose something like that? Because that's where you grow from, right? Yeah. You're going to grow from that. That's something that your soul simply wanted to evolve from and experience. Now, most of us would say, oh, those poor people, oh, that poor kid, they have autism. They need to be, catered to. And no, they need to be loved just like everybody else. They're not asking for anything different, right? Most don't know that Verena, one lady, asked me earlier that I must be a saint for not flipping out on this woman who called me a pathetic multiple times and delusional simply for describing my love for dogs. Yeah, that's when you have to look, and that person that said that to you, Marie, is simply, you make them feel uncomfortable, right? So you're vibrating at a higher frequency than them, okay? Therefore, she feels uncomfortable around you. You make her feel angry, hateful, spiteful. So what are they going to do? They're going to project then their unconscious fear and guilt onto you, and therefore call you names. Pathetic. You're fucking stupid. You're dumb. dogs are worthless fucking animals, right? That's her response to you. That's because she's lower than you, not better than you, but lower than you. Okay, you're vibrating higher. So those people that come in here, and you see kids that are bipolar, autistic, cognitive disabled, right? Mentally retarded, that is. They chose to experience that. Their soul somehow needed that experience to evolve from. That's it, right? That soul that's wrapped around their body, they know what they're doing. You don't, because you've chosen to forget. So they've just chosen to forget. They've just chosen to experience something difficult, buddy. That's all. That's it, right? For me, my NDE was created by me. When Father came to me and asked me to, again, to have this very difficult life, say, Jason, well, if you don't get to, by the time you get to D or, E, you're going to have an NDE if you don't get back on track to becoming a teacher. Now, I was asked to become a teacher, now that I reflect on my life, my entire life, even in grade school, when I was performing in plays for the Catholic school and, performing religious plays. Into high school, I was asked to become a teacher. In college, the dean of the history department asked me to become a teacher. It was evident my entire life, but I refused to listen to it. And what am I doing now? Right? Teaching. Who would have thought? But even my mother, when I would explain things, my mother doesn't even have a high school education, extremely ignorant, maybe a little bit street smart, but I would have to explain things to her in a way that didn't make her feel ignorant or stupid. And she would always say, you explain things really well. I could listen to you talk all night long, and you explain things in a way that I can understand. And I try not to dumb things down for you guys, because I don't want you to feel ignorant. But in a way, and I don't mean this in a bad way, you are. You don't have the experience that I've had on the other side. Multiple angel meetings, out-of-body experiences, right? Different realms I've gone to throughout after my NDE. I have the experience. I know what I'm talking about. And I choose to serve humanity. I choose to step into the shoes that my Father asked me to do. And I will not stop, right? So when these sensitive subjects come up, it's important for me to get them out to you, but I will not deny you or dumb them down for you. Okay. If you don't understand something, ask me, write it in the comments. Jason, can you talk about this? I need you to talk about this. Now, I'm going to tell you what's coming up with me. Someone found me on Next Level Soul, and they reached out to me. She's a profound, beautiful being. All right. And she comes from the angelic realm. She is beyond psychic. She reads me to a T. And last weekend we were speaking, and she said, Jason, your life is about to start moving very rapidly. And I said, yeah. And she says, yes, there is a celebrity watching you. They're in the room watching your lives. And I was told, you need to do a live real quick. Like real quick. From the non-physical saying, you need to do a live. All right. And I was like, really? They said, yes. Not only that, my twin flame is watching. Arena, hi, Jason. It's so good to see you again. Sorry I was away for a while. How's everything with you? I hope you're doing great. Much love. I'm doing fantastic. Lost my job today, but I knew that was kind of coming because changes are coming. I am doing well. It's good to see you again. You have no need to be sorry, honey. We're adults. We have to be doing adulting things, and that just, sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't. And I'm very glad that you are here, and I love you very much. Thank you for showing up. So she said that not only is this person watching me, that they are going to reach out to me. Now, all of a sudden, I lose my job out of the clear blue, right? And when my temp agency called up, said, why was he let go? Is he doing this? They gave no answer, no explanation, nothing. And they're like, we're sorry, we tried. But I'm like, no, it's meant to happen, right? My life is moving into my manifestations, to the highest version of Jason, right? And they said, there's two people watching me, this celebrity and my twin flame. She's in here right now somewhere. So, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. They're both hiding under false names. But on top of that, she also said you're going to have another angelic meeting very soon. This one from a feminine, a female, where all your questions are now going to be answered, because she said you are deliberately being kept hidden, meaning you're to be totally confused, right? And I've told you guys, I've been very confused and frustrated. Why am I here? What's going on? Why do I have this stupid job? What is taking, why am I living like this, right? Am I getting any answers? No, because it's meant to be on purpose, right? They're meant to keep me confused and delusional, so to speak. Well, say, well, Jason, that sounds mean. No, everything is in divine timing. So everything now is starting to roll. And I believe that me losing the job today was part of that transition into things that are coming. So, and she said a bunch of other things that were deeply profound. And that she said this, you're going to have another meeting with an angelic being, and it's coming very, very soon. And when you least expect it, and it's going to come from a feminine, from a female. And I've been feeling that and knowing that too, but so things are rolling the way they're supposed to be. You know, now I'm out of money. Might have a couple more weeks to pay for this hotel room, but I firmly believe that something that is going to take place is going to take place, right? Because I don't live in fear anymore, guys. Fear is an illusion as well. Everything here is an illusion. I am not going to give in to fear, panic, and all of this crap. I just won't. Things are progressing the way they're meant to progress. And she realized, Darun, hello. How is everybody doing? It's good to see you guys. So that is what is taking place. And I think today was the first step when I was coming home and, hey, you no longer have a job. That's great. Now I'm in a state. Right. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I truly just don't care. I'm just not going to let the illusion, run its course and me run into panic and all this stuff. It's happening for a reason. So, I was going to talk about something else and I forgot. Any of you guys have any questions? I've been rambling on for like 40 minutes. You guys asked me something. I stopped that for a while and we're talking about, I like hearing your questions. So you guys ask me a question, because it's all about you guys too. I can teach you, but I also want you to ask me something that's on your mind, something that you're unsure of. Because that's just as important to me as getting, my topic out there. What do you guys got for me? It happened when I was a child. What happened to you? I had something done to me that was disgusting and highly illegal that resulted in my NDE. Tell me about it. How to forgive that person. Talk about it, Verena. You want to come into the studio? Here. Tape that or copy that and put it in your browser, and I'll see you when you come in here, and I'll allow you to come in. I'd like to hear about your NDE and what happened to you. So copy that and put it in there. I'll let it go by one more time, and you can come into the studio, and or any one of you can come in and sit side by side with me, and we can have a conversation. I'll let it go by one more time. And I'd like to hear about your NDE. So whatever it is that disgusting, because you do during your NDE truly learn how to forgive, right? So I'll see when you pop in. So who's got a good question for me? So what else could I talk about for you guys? I had several topics on my mind today, but really it was about the reincarnation that I wanted to talk about. That was key.
You asked for signs. I make music and sing about these things. You asked for signs. Yes, that's true. I am one of them. You're one of what? I asked for signs and received nothing. But I also get a bunch of confusion. That's simple. Let me see. What do you think of Dolores Cannon's work? Through her work, she learned about 3 waves of volunteers, the souls that you come to Earth with a purpose. What do you think about that? Well, I didn't really hear about that, but there are highly advanced beings here. There are souls that are, I can't say reincarnating for the first time, like newer souls. More advanced souls are here right now just because of the extreme need for a higher vibration to help humanity transition into the fire. You know, that's what I was going to talk about today. Thank you for asking me. I think Dolores Cannon was right on many things except one thing, and I cannot remember what it was right now. But there are different types of souls that come. But right now, she's true about that. But right now, those souls that are here right now are those souls that have a shit ton of experience. Okay, meaning they've been here quite a few times, many times, right? And the fact that nothing like this has ever been seen in the universe. I mean, all eyes are on planet Earth right now. All highly advanced beings are watching what is taking place on Earth and how we are transitioning into a higher consciousness, the 5D. I'm already there. Went through my ascension in 2023, went through my awakening. I'm there, okay? But only those souls, they come to Earth with the purpose of helping the Earth advance into that highly, that higher form of consciousness. And right now, only those are allowed with a lot of experience to come here. Father is denying trillions of souls. I mean, lines and lines are waiting to come. And Father is saying, absolutely not. But I do believe with Doris Cannon that there are waves of volunteers. And right now, those volunteers that have come to become part of something that has never been seen before in the universe, in this transition of this species of humans into a much higher form of intelligence. The human species may even look a little different, right? Because our brains are going to become bigger and we're going to have more access to more knowledge. So this species may look a little different, okay? But only about 40% of this species will transition into the 5D. Because right now, what's stopping the other 60%? It's something that grips this planet with absolute authority. Okay, and that is fear. You are all terrified. I see the question, Murray. So you all live in fear. Like many of you have said, Jason, you're brave. I could never do what you have done. Never. I couldn't leave my family. I couldn't leave my children. I couldn't throw out my life in the dumpster. I couldn't get in a car, go live in it, cross country, have no job, no place to stay, right? But not once in that moment that I left did I ever fall into fear, guys. Okay? I knew I was going to be perfectly fine. Is it uncomfortable? Yeah. Did I get cranky? Yeah. Is it difficult? More than you could ever possibly imagine. But fear is an illusion. And that is what is stopping 60% of this species from transitioning into the 5D. You will all, again, reincarnate, or as you already have once, right? Here comes that circle. It's not a circle. So you will all again, when you choose to focus in on one concentration of that of you, will incarnate back into this version of Earth, while everybody else will move into world peace, all of that, the golden age of Earth. 60% of humanity will stay behind and live in this shithole 3D materialistic world, right? I told you what's coming. Highly advanced. You're going to wake up one morning and your cell phone isn't going to work anymore. Okay. Your TVs aren't going to work. Your iPads, your computers, all electronics are going to be disabled. All shut down. Okay. And you're going to look up in the sky and you're going to see spacecraft hovering above. Our defenses deny fear, so many don't really realize they are in fear and not aware that they are projecting their fears. And if you try to show them, yeah, absolutely, right? The society or the higher ups, the 1%, right? That's their job, right? To keep you living in fear, to keep you think that you're living paycheck to paycheck, that you're doing something worthwhile, that you were molded into this perfect being, right? No, you were forced into it to play the game, to play their game. Well, it's ending. You're watching it around the world, guys. You're watching government. Our government is collapsing. The United Kingdom's government is collapsing. Everything is falling apart, as it should be, because we are transitioning. And those beings, those highly advanced beings that are going to show up in a few years, okay, those 60% chosen one are earth angels, struggle always. Absolutely. Earth chosen ones are the black sheep of the family. They are brutally beaten, neglected, abandoned, everything that you can think of, every horrible thing that you can. Like I say, we start out as a little kid, right, at PhD level, where all of you guys are eating candy canes and cupcakes and being loved and adored. We're being abused, neglected, and all of that. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. I want to make something crystal clear, everyone. I mean, everyone is worthy of all the love in the world. Say it with me, people. Everyone is worthy of love. Correct. Absolutely. You are all love, ladies and gentlemen. You just have forgotten who you are. And that's what I'm here for, to wake you guys up and realize who you are. That's what Jesus's mission was. Okay? He said it. Look, guys, you're no different than I am. You can do and will do greater things than I. Everything I can do, you can do, and more. Okay? He said that 2,000 years ago. And you still, and the species still refuses to wake up. Why? You're all fearful. You're terrified of waking up. But when you become awake and you realize that you're witnessing nothing more than a dream, that every stoplight you're at, every grocery store you go, every pair of shoes you're doing is meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. It's just like when you watch your kids play a video game and you're watching their avatar go around doing different shit, right? That's all you're doing. Right? But the haves want you to believe that, and the church, the Catholic Church, is the biggest perpetrator of this lie. They know damn well who you are. So that what they did is put Jesus up on a pedestal and say, okay. Jesus was the only Son of God, but let it stop right there. Right there. So what they did was Christianity then institutionalized guilt as a virtue. You all feel guilty for every fucking thing you do. Right? I'm going to go buy a house, to buy a new car. I'm going to masturbate, or, I'm going to have, an extramarital affair. All the guilt. You are to feel guilty about nothing. The church made you feel that way. Nothing more. Jesus didn't come to start a religion. He didn't come to start Christianity. What he did do was to muddy up the water. You know, when you're looking at the beautiful water and then somebody stomps on the shore and all the silt comes flying up, right? What can you see? Nothing. Well, that's how we're viewing our life in the now. So Jesus came to stir that shit up. Look, wake up, realize who you are. You're no different than I am. None. And he was a highly advanced being. So that's my job. I'm picking up where I left. And people say, well, this guy just talks new age. This shit isn't new age, guys. This shit is 2,000 years old. 2,000 years old. And how did Jesus do this? He led by example, right? He showed you unconditional love, no matter who you were, no matter where you were, whether you were a child, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you were a prostitute, whether you were a banker, whether you worked on the dockyards, didn't care. He loved you unconditionally. And he showed you with his miracles, by the way, which he did far less miracles than the Bible ever said. Okay. But through those miracles, he showed you who you are. But people just didn't get it. Why? Because they were projecting themselves onto Jesus, which frustrated the living shit out of them. It had to have. Right? They didn't get it. They didn't understand what he was trying to say because it was so revolutionary. Back then, it was new age to love and to forgive. That's unheard of. Even now, most of you don't want to forgive those that you deemed hurt you, whether they raped you, whether they beat you, molested you, had an affair on you, took your job, got you fired from a job, whatever. It doesn't matter. Jesus said, love your neighbor as thyself. Why? Because that neighbor is thyself. So you just did it to yourself, right? Therefore, you lowered both of your frequencies when you decide not to love or to attack. There's no reason to attack. Attack comes from fear. So what you're witnessing around the world is fear. People are attacking. ICE shooting that woman in the face in Minnesota. That's fear. All that was fear. That woman made him feel so uncomfortable and showed him his own blackness and darkness that he decided to pull a gun and shoot her in the face. Fear. So that is why 60% of this species is going to be left behind. Because you guys don't want to wake up. And the people that are watching me, and this is timeless, okay? So it doesn't matter whether you find this tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now. It doesn't matter. It's meant to find you when it's meant to find you. There are no coincidences. Right? So my whole point of this is picking up where my brother left off, because nobody out there is willing to talk about these things. Nobody is willing to put themselves out there to be ridiculed. I don't give a shit what you think of me. I don't care. I don't play the game anymore. I'm not trying to fit in. I don't want to fit in. I'm me. Proudly, lovingly, I love myself. Every single one of us is God. Don't you understand that? There's only one. And Jesus said it. He showed you by example when he said, I and the Father are one. He wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about all of you. He led by example. He was showing you, right? So when he said that, they got mad and tried to stone him. He said, from which of the good works from the Father that I have shown you am I to be stoned? For your good works not, but you, listen, being a man, make yourself God. And his response is epic. He said, isn't it written in your laws? I said, you are gods. If you are gods, then how can you say I blaspheme because I say I am a son of God? That's it. That's it. Right there was his death sentence. They sentenced him to death for that very phrase. And he knew it. And he chose to follow through with his free will to be crucified. And the atonement is simply the resurrection. Again, he's showing you by example who we are. What did he do? He created another body 3 days later that looked just like the one he had that was thrown in a ditch and buried somewhere. We all have that within us, guys. So when I tell you, when people say, Jason, how do I become like you? How do I get these angelic visits? How do I become in alignment with my higher self? You have to go within. Okay? So as I speak to you, I'm showing this to you, right? I am giving you all of this information. You must go within. If you seek anything outside yourself, okay? Now listen to me very carefully. If you seek anything outside yourself, like you do, oh, I got a college degree. Look at my house. I'm the CEO of a company. I make $250,000 a month. Look at me. These three things you are going to find if you seek anything outside yourself. You will seek pain, misery, and you will find death. That is a guarantee. Jesus taught you to go within, to seek within yourself, to find out who you are. And he taught that. That was what he was teaching. That is what is now in the bottom of the Vatican in their library, where nobody is allowed to access it. Nobody. You will be shot on sight if you even make it down there. You will be arrested trying to get in there, but if you make it in there, I promise you they will shoot you on sight. What is worth killing? What Jesus was teaching. They don't care about his damn bloodline in not angels and demons, but the Da Vinci Code. They don't care about that. What they do care about is what he was teaching, and that is exactly what I am teaching. And I could care less what the church thinks, because what they've done to us for 2 millennia is disgusting. They have kept you in a low vibrational state because they know exactly who you are. So it's time for each and every one of you listening to me to rise up. Go within yourself. Okay? Go within, meditate, find out who you are, and realize how powerful you are. You all can make the sun and the stars bow to your will. Okay? And that is no joke. You are beyond powerful, but you are all loving, all knowing, and you are powerful. You can do the exact same things that Jesus Christ did 2,000 years ago, and that includes raising the dead. And the reason we haven't been able to do that yet, because we'd be in serious trouble if we started raising people from the dead. We've effed things up this bad already. Raising people from the dead would only make it worse, right? Disease doesn't exist. Disease is simply a figment of your imagination. If you say, well, I got the cold, guess what? You have a cold because you brought that into existence. What you're seeing on a daily basis is what you are creating in your mind and projecting outwards. Right? So watch what you say and watch what you think. That is part of going within. And that is what I have done. That is what all of you need to do. You're the creator of your reality. You're the stage. You put me here, guys. Every single one of you put me here tonight. And what your perception of me is different to each and every one of you. Because the version of myself is what you created and needed me to be. That's how powerful you are. Accept it, but know it. Watch what you say when you say, I'm a nobody. I'm no good. Nobody loves me. Well, guess what's going to come to you? That more of being a nobody, and nobody's going to come to you, right? I'm unworthy of love. I'm unworthy of having a healthy relationship. Well, guess what's coming? The I am statement. I am unworthy. Well, more unworthiness is coming to you guys. Your thoughts create your reality. Change your thoughts, change your thinking patterns. That only happens when you quiet the mind. This is not the mind. This is the brain. It runs this shit suit. Okay? Your brain is trying to fathom whatever it is you're trying to create and project outward. And most of the time, it can't even conceive of what is taking place. It tries to, but it can't. So, I mean, it's really that simple. It's a game you're in, guys. Change the rules of the game. And that starts with you, but you have to go within. You manifested me tonight. There's no doubt about it. Each and every one of you did, right? I seek audience to help spread my message, our message, everyone's. Exactly. And that's why I teach. So that's why I am here. I love you guys. I refuse to let the church win. I refuse to let this society win. All right? We are all one. We are all the same. There's no difference between any of you. Those that are female in this audience, you've been told to believe that you're a female because you got shit hanging off your chest and a hole between your legs. But you identify with that and you firmly believe that you're a female. You're not. You don't identify yourself with when you get out and go to work, you call yourself a Jeep, do you? No. It's simply the tool that you use to get around, right? To where you need to go. What do you think these are for? It's the same thing. It's a vehicle for your soul to get around and do what it needs to do. And then when it's done, it simply discards it like a snake shedding its skin. Excuse me. That's it. The body is of such insignificance. It is of such littleness. If you truly understood who you are, that is what my NDE did for me. And the continued spiritual experiences that I keep having, angelic experiences, and another one is coming very quickly. A female angel is coming my way. And now these answers that I've had to all these questions are coming. They're going to be revealed to me. Sorry, guys, my back is killing me. I've got to adjust. So everything's happening. And it started tonight with the loss of the job. I could give a shit. I really don't care anymore. I'm not going to let that fear roll. I know I'm taken care of, and this is just part of the plan that was created for me. So, it is what it is. But anyway, I'm at an hour, and I want you guys to enjoy. If you truly know what is that? What are you saying? How important the body is. How unimportant the body is. The body means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So quit worrying about the body. Quit looking at it as some, you project your own unconscious fear and guilt. You hate your body. You try and manifest, you put in fake boobs, fake eyelashes, fake this, fake that. And, I hate my body. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I'm losing my hair. You project your own hate onto your body. And what has your body done to you? Excuse me. What has your body done to you? Nothing. It can do nothing. It doesn't care if it does it win. Doesn't care if you win. Doesn't care if you lose. Doesn't care if you get up. Doesn't care if you sit down. It does everything that you've ever asked of it. Scratch your ass, scratch your head, pick your nose, go take a shower. It does what it wants. It doesn't care about winning, losing, or accomplishments. It means nothing. It's simply a tool for you to get around. Lee, I'm trying to let my hair grow. I'm trying to let my hair go gray and ditch the fake dye. Perfect. Look, for a long time, I dyed this to keep brown. But you know what? When I loved myself, I let that go. Love yourself. Each and every one of you. You are beautiful and you are perfect in every sense. Does Father make mistakes? Does God make errors or mistakes? You can be, that's right. You can be anything you want to be. Believe in yourself and create it for you. Your thoughts create that reality. So when we pass, the focus point leaves back to who we are and we keep projecting the body that is correct. That's correct, Marie. Absolutely. Do anything you want to do. I used peroxide to lighten my hair and hairdresser last time when I died. I said, I don't. There you go. So love your body, but take care of it because it's the only one you get in this lifetime, right? So eat healthy, quit smoking, quit drinking, because God really doesn't like that. And let's talk about one last thing before I go, suicide. Do you know how many people, suicide, God doesn't care about suicide, okay? So suicide is simply your way to return home. If you chose a very, very, very difficult life, right? Father may say to you, you know, this is going to be very hard, right? And and I'm telling you, when you're on the other side, you're gung ho, like, you know, you're ready to go. Like I can attack. And then we come into this and then we go like, holy fuck, why is this shit happening to me? Right. And you don't understand that this is exactly what you asked God to experience. Right. So there's probably a 25 to 35% chance God will say, you know, he may very well kill himself at this point in time because it just becomes too much. And that's what happens to people that commit suicide. They've just taken on more than they could possibly handle. And it was their way out, but it's their way out for a very, very short period of time. If you think you're going to escape the contract that you went into, oh no, 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 no. You will come back sooner than you wanted to. And you will pick up right where you were experiencing and left off when you killed yourself. So if you think you're going to run from those problems, no. I've told each and every one of you to face your fears, no matter what has happened. It's not the. Do you pick up where you left off? You do pick up where you left off. That is correct. You will pick up where you left off. You will be born again. Doesn't matter. And you will have those same experiences, except now they're going to be a little harder, but you will go home. And the whole problem with society and suicide, thinking it's wrong because that's the church's bullshit, which that's all it is that billions of you every day commit suicide. Nicholas. Hey, Nick, how you doing, buddy? Much love. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's coming quick. So society is messed up in this aspect, right? Because billions of you every day commit suicide. And I said billions. How? Each and every one, well, not each and every one of you, billions of you smoke cigarettes. Billions of you drink alcohol and are alcoholics or drug addicts, right? So it may take 30 or 40 years for you to die of lung cancer, liver cancer, psoriasis of the liver, tongue cancer, mouth cancer from cigarette smoking, you know, but guess what? You're still going to die. So what society has a problems with is if I put a gun to my head and pull the trigger, somehow that's bad. Oh my God. You know, he's got a problem. He killed or he hung himself. No, doesn't make a damn bit of difference. What you're doing every day by smoking those cigarettes and drinking all that alcohol is no different than somebody pulling the trigger or hanging themselves with a rope. It's still the same thing. It's suicide. But you all go home because there's only one place to go. You're already there, right? There's nowhere for you to go but to wake up. You will have that life review, and all the souls that I've heard that have committed suicide that have come back have regretted it and said, you know, we won't be doing that again, right? But you will come back, okay? You will have and pick up in that experiences that you were having. So when I tell you guys, each and every one of you, from this moment on, you are to have no guilt. about anything you have done in your life. Anything. You are all guiltless. And on top of that, you are all sinless. And that is how I see a world full of bodies. Well, how do you see a world full of, how don't you see a world full of bodies? I see you all as sinless and beautiful and pure, right? Some of you are lower frequency, down in the dark. Some of you are up there. Have we all made mistakes? You can't really make a mistake. You're evolving, right? As a soul. So I see you all as sinless. You are all beautiful and you are all perfect to me. And that is exactly how the Holy Spirit, and that is exactly how your Father sees you. Evolving. Like a toddler learning how to walk. What happens? They bash their face on everything. They bash it on the ground, they bash it on a table, they'll fall into a wall, bust their lip open, right? But what are they learning? What do? They get back up, right? They'll fall down again. You pick them up, you comfort them, and what do? They're forging themselves through fire. It's the same thing. You're all guiltless. Get rid of it. You are to not feel guilty about anything you have done in your life. And I don't care what you have done. You have done nothing wrong. You are all beautiful and you are all perfect. And I'm going to leave it right there. Remember, sin doesn't exist. It is simply a lack of love. And if you're looking at the world right now, you're seeing a shit ton of a lack of love. And I will leave it there. I love you guys so very much. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Stella Ween. Hello, Jason. Quick question about the soul contract. What's the point of it? What's the point of everyone coming down here to Earth over and over again to care about? So opt out of a contract. You can't opt out of the contract. You're going to finish it. So once you sign it, once you want to come here, then that seal is sealed. But the soul contract, the whole point of it is you learn, when you come here, you forget who you are, right? You forget that you're God. The whole purpose of coming here over and over and over again is to go through these experiences to one day figure out, holy shit, I'm God. And then in that moment, what do? You change your life. You start to serve humanity instead of retaliate against it. Okay. So it's only through those experiences that you go through that is carving your life. So that's the point of it. You're on a voyage of rediscovery. That's it. You're on the cosmic wheel, like the hamster wheel, like I explained earlier, right? When you see the hamster running around in circles, then it gets off, right? And it'll wander around for a little bit, then it'll get on the wheel the other way and go back and forth. That's what we're doing. But it's in the hopes of rediscovering who you are. And to Father, it's the number one thing that you need to do. It is an epic point. You need to realize and come to the truth of who you are. And that is, each and every one of you are God. You're all of one mind. That's the point of coming here over and over again. You pick out experiences that you are going to reach that end point of rediscovering who you are. So as the more and more you rebel, the more you realize you're not going anywhere. What's the only true path? The only true course is to love and forgive. Same thing Jesus taught 2,000 years ago. Love one another. And when you truly forgive, that is where you truly shorten your incarnations. Again, I don't care what happened to you. I don't care if somebody murdered your child, raped you, beat you, cut your arm off, whatever. It doesn't matter. You forgive them because that person that did that to you is you. There is only one, ladies and gentlemen. God is. There is nothing else. You are simply a fictional character in God's mind. He wanted to experience what he already knows. In order for him to experience that, he created us. In whose image? His image. We are one and the same. And it's imperative that you understand that. But in that moment of now, when we created the Big Bang, all our lives were created. Therefore, reincarnation is an illusion. It doesn't exist. You right now in the connectivity to each and every one of us, because we're all tied by a silver cord, is that we're all connected to one another because we are all one another. Right. I know, it's a great quote. So the sooner you understand that and realize that is how I play the game now, guys. I choose not to even go out in it. I am so much of an introvert, an INFJ. So if any of you guys know what an INFJ is, if not, go look it up. That's who I am. I don't play the game. I don't care. I don't play by the rules anymore. I don't go into bars. I don't go to clubs. I don't go to movies anymore. None of it interests me anymore. Nothing interests me out there. You want to go out to eat? Yeah, great. Oh, look at it. And when you go out to eat, you're looking at everybody in their little cliques, in their own little groups. You'll see somebody sitting by themselves or a group over here. You're all in a different dimension and you're all in a different frequency. That's why you have your little cliques and your little friend, like my little girl club. It's a girls' night out, right? That's because you're all vibing with the same energy, your own vibration. That's why all four of you can sit in your little stupor and go out and do what you do. And then you'll see the loners sitting off in the corners elsewhere because they don't want to be a part of it, right? They're above you. So, like my friend said, he left Disneyland right. I left Disneyland 6 years ago, man. You know, the ship set sail, whoop, whoop, and I'm gone out into the middle of the ocean by myself. I want no part of this shit anymore. I want no part of it. I cannot stand small talk. Like, oh, well, how was your day with the weather? Oh, you know, my job, and I applied for that. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I don't care. I need deep, meaningful conversations like I'm having with you guys. This is where I thrive. This is what I choose, right? And when I talk to my friend Renee, she is a medium. She's from the angel. She is on that level with me, and we can talk for hours. There's a person in here too that is part of my crew. We can talk for a while too because we're vibing with the same thing. All right. Everyone is God. That is correct. You are all God. You've just forgotten who you are. That is exactly correct. I think there is God and souls who are not God, but and that if that's where you need to be, buddy, and think that there's bad souls and that's okay. That just shows where you're at and your moment of evolution, and that's okay. Absolutely okay. And not only do I not judge you, I don't condemn you because that's where you're at. And that's okay. I know who I am. I know when I merged with that light and became the light and that love, that I was one with the Father. There is nothing else. Not only was I one with all of you, but I was one with everything in the entire universe. Highly advanced beings, everything. Not only am that I was everything that has ever existed or will exist in the moment of now. Do you do a lot of shadow work, Jason? Well, what do you mean by shadow work? Right. Light beings, okay? Highly advanced beings, chosen ones. That's all we are, right? We're no different than anybody else. We were just chosen because we were highly, higher up in the vibration wise and experience wise that we're chosen for these lives. But other than that, there is nobody special. Okay. Jesus was nothing special. I'm nothing special. None of you are special. We're all the same. That's why I quit watching TV. I no longer watch sports, right? I no longer watch football. Why? There's got to be a winner and a loser. Wrong. Okay. We're all the same. We're all equal. There can be no losers and there are no losers, but you're all where you need to be on your evolutionary path, right? Some of you are struggling. Some of you agree with me wholeheartedly. Some of you are like, well, man, that's tough to choke, but somehow I feel it, right? Let's see, because I do help bully my soul into different states of love. How do we connect with our guides when we feel lost or confused? You simply ask them to come in. That's a great way when you meditate, right? You ask for help. They know, you understand that you have free will. They will not interfere in your life. Not Jesus will not interfere, Father will not interfere, the Holy Spirit will not interfere, and your guides and angels will not interfere. They're around you, they're right next to you, but they will not help you until you ask them. And a great way to do that is when you quiet your mind and you ask them for help. Say, guides, archangels, Father, Holy Spirit, I need help. I need you to help me. They will come. And that is when you continue to keep that mind quiet. And you may not, you'll be getting those downloads, but you've got to open yourself up to that. Right now, most of humanity is, well, 60% of it is closed off. They're scared. You cannot live in fear, Stella. Okay. Fear cannot enter your life in any way, shape, or form, or it's going to block that love and that information from coming into you. Okay. You won't be able to receive it. That is why all of these angelic visions, now this, and all of these out of body experiences and stuff are happening for me. Fear is gone. There is no fear for me. Shadow work. It's like focusing on negative things and changing them. Yes, I do a lot of shadow work. I know I still have some weaknesses and stuff like that. So yeah, I do the work that is needed for them. And right now my back hurts because of this job so bad that I cannot sit like I normally do, crisscross applesauce, or what you would normally see as a meditation. I can't do it right now. And again, that's the frustration, the why is this happening to me, right? And that's when this angelic being that is coming very soon is going to answer all these questions, and things will progress. So when it was 18 degrees, that was so much easier than last year. I had no fear. There you go. Beautiful. Well done. Well done. All right, guys, I love you. I don't want this. It's already an hour and a half. Woo-wee. I love you guys. All right. Watch this over and over. Go back and listen to it. Go back and listen to the other ones. All right. And just, it's imperative that you guys figure out who you are. Blessings to you, Leo. I love you so much. Thank you for coming in. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. I love you. All right. Open your hearts. Forgive. Unconditionally forgive. You're welcome, Stella. I love you so much. Thank you. Again, watch these. Watch them over and over. Forward them on to somebody that needs help. Okay. Now is the time of the Great Awakening where we are transitioning into something phenomenal. And I'm hoping to awaken more of you so that you can ascend. But I'm going to let it go. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Have a blessed weekend. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.